see that in the Islamic history, after Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, whenever this deen, whenever this religion has been attacked, whether it be by somebody like Yazid, who was an oppressor, who came into power based on oppression, based on zulm, not based on justice, and who was an unjust leader, unjust ruler, and not worthy of being a ruler of the Muslim Ummah. Sayyidina Imam Hussain, the grandson of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, stood up against him and sacrificed his entire family, but did not bow down to him. وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلُ. And we see that in this Ummah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends such special personalities who not only defend the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also revive this religion, rejuvenate this religion, purify this religion from all fabrications that have come along. And they rid the Ummah from the oppressive leaders, from the people who cause injustice, and from who interfere with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's boundaries. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa says in a hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends one person at the end of every century who revives Islam, who reforms Islam in its original form, who purifies Islam to the basis in which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam left this religion, who takes us back to the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and who redefines and re-emphasizes the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who says this is halal, this is haram, this is shirk, this is bid'ah, and who basically takes the ummah back on the right path, back on the sirat al-mustaqim. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, every 100 years, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall send a mujaddid, a reviver, a reformer, who shall do all of these things. Because with time, corruption takes place. With time, fabrication takes place. New things come into religion. New things are invented, introduced, which are not part of Islam, which are not part of the fundamentals of Islam, which are bid'ah, and they are a bid'ah of the wrong kind. The bid'ah can be of the right bid'ah hasana and bid'ah qabiha. And those bid'ah which destroy the religion or damage the foundations of religion, the mujaddid, the reformer who comes at the end of every century, purifies Islam from all these bid'ahs. And every century there has been 1400 years since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away from this earth in a physical form, and there has been at least 14 such revivers, 14 such mujaddid who have come and purified Islam from all these evil things, from all these bid'ah, from all these fabrications. But the person who are we commemorating today and remembering today, Hazrat Shaykh Ahmad Sarhandi Faruqi Rahmatullahi Ta'ala alayhi. He was not a mujaddid for 100 years. He was a mujaddid for 1,000 years. He was Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani. Alf means 1,000, Sani means second. So far, there has been 1400 years since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we're into the second 1,000 years. And the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself was the mujaddid for the first 1,000 years. He was Mujaddid Alf-e-Awwal. For the first 1,000 years, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself was a reformer. Himself reformed the religion of the Anbiya Sabiqeen, of all the prophets who went before. Islam, obviously, you and I know, but since Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, the religion of all the Anbiya, their preachings were Islamic teachings. It's always been Islam, but through Christianity, through Judaism, through other religions, Islam's face was changed into different religions. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself is the reformer of Islam, who established Sharia, who established Sunnah, through whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the Holy Quran. And because there is no prophet after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, after I am gone, this religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be reformed by the servants, the slaves, the ibad of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He shall introduce a person who will reform this religion. And Hazrat Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani rahmatullahi alayhi, he was born. The century I'm referring to, every 100 years, is the century in Islamic years, Hijri. Because you see, we have two different calendars. The calendar that starts from Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, and in that calendar we are in year 2011 AD, after Isa alayhi salam, after the time of Isa alayhi salam. And Hijrah is the second calendar, and for us that is the prominent calendar, that is the Islamic calendar. And in Hijrah we are in the year 1432. 1432 years since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated from Makkah to Medina. When he migrated, that was the first Hijri. Hijri means migration. And the Islamic rule was established. Islamic state was established. So every 100 years in Islamic calendar, a Mujaddid comes. And at the end of the 1,000 years, first 1,000 years, Hazrat Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani was born. In the year 971, Hijri. Hazrat Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, is a person who is born 1,000 years after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and 1,000 years before he was born. In a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "There shall come a man 1,000 years after me, who will be between two oppressive rulers, and who will revive this religion for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And his status will be," in a hadith the word is sila, something which combines two things. He will bring together two different avenues. And Hazrat Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani is that person who combines Sharia, the knowledge of Sharia and the knowledge of Tariqat, the knowledge of spirituality and the knowledge of Islamic Sharia, Islamic fiqh. And Hazrat Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani is the person about whom Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "He shall come and he shall revive this religion after 1,000 years." When Hazrat Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani was born, the Mughal Empire, Mughal, in Urdu we say Mughal, in English we say Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire was ruling India, and India wasn't just what we see at the moment. India was also Pakistan, India was also Afghanistan, India was also Sri Lanka, India was also Bangladesh, and also Nepal. India was a superpower of that time. India was the America of that time. The Mughal rulers were ruling India at the time, and the king who was in power was Jalaluddin Akbar, whom Indians call the Great Akbar, because he had the ideology. He was a Muslim by name, but he had the ideology of a non-Muslim. Jalaluddin Akbar he was a person who was influenced by Hindus at the time. He was a person who was influenced by other religions at the time. And because he was the sole ruler of this entire state, there was no such parliament or elections or government. It was a sole power. If you were the king, you had ultimate power. To gain proximity to the king, to gain his approval, and to gain power, the ulama, the scholars of that time, interfered with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's boundaries. And they are known as ulama-e-su. Hazrat Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani fought with ulama-e-su. And what did ulama-e-su do? What did these scholars do? Scholars of religion. They declared it jaiz, halal, to prostrate, to do sajda in front of the king. As you and I know, doing sajda in front of anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shirk. In order to gain his approval, they declared that it was alright to perform sajda in front of the Badshah, in front of the ruler, the king, because it wasn't a sajda ibadat. You weren't worshipping him, you were just paying your respect. It was sajda tazim. And also, it was declared by these ulama, who were very eminent scholars. They declared it halal for Muslim girls to marry Hindu husbands. And the king allowed many thousands of Muslim girls to marry Hindu husbands. And they declared it halal for man to wear gold, which is haram for man. They declared it halal for man to wear silk. They declared it halal to eat pork. They declared it halal to drink sharab, alcohol. And this is the time of Hazrat Mujaddid Alf-e-Sani, rahmatullahi alayhi. And at the time, because of influence of Hindus and other religions who were present at the time, thousands of mosques were demolished. And instead, worship place, temples were built in the time of Jalaluddin Akbar. And a new religion, not only did they interfere with Sharia, halal and haram, they introduced a new religion. And that new religion was called Deen-e-Ilahi. Rather than calling it Islam, they called it Deen-e-Ilahi. And the head of that Deen-e-Ilahi was Jalaluddin Akbar, the king himself. They declared him a mujtahid, the ultimate authority on religion. If there was a dispute in ulama, ultimately the king would decide. Jalaluddin Akbar would decide. And they demolished the foundations of Islam. When we meet and greet each other, we say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And our brother says, Wa alaikum assalam. Peace be upon you. We pray for each other. But at the time of Jalaluddin Akbar, they changed even that. The person who would greet his brother would say, Allahu Akbar. And Akbar didn't refer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Akbar referred to Jalaluddin Akbar. Akbar is Allah. And the reply would be Jalla Jalaluhu, He's the Almighty, He's the All-Superior. And just to give you a brief summary, of what things went wrong at the time of Jalaluddin Akbar. This is an Urdu word. I have translated for you already. बादशाह के ज़माने में मोहम्मद, अहमद और मुस्तफ़ा वगैरह के नाम बादशाह पर गिरां गुजरते थे. He didn't like these names, Muhammad, Ahmad or Mustafa. And he would change, if he knew somebody's name was Muhammad, he would change it. नए मसाजिद की तामीर बंद कर दी गई और कई कदीम मसाजिद को गिरा दिया गया। गाय ज़िबा करने पर मौत की सजा दी जाती है। You know, the cow is sacred in the religion of Hinduism, and it was declared that the cow is a sacred animal. And if you slaughtered a cow which is a halal, then you would be hanged, because you had killed a sacred animal which was in the Deen Ilahi.